Here I go again, deep into the sea, wondering will be. Texas voting data. Deep into the sea, wondering will be. Oh. Where are we today? Proportion of voting age population that is number of Hispanics of voting age. I think what we wanted to do today was start working on this dashboard idea that would allow someone to select a county and highlight a specific VTD within that county. Pull up some statistics on that. I think that's the idea. Because we have these neat plots for turnout, demographics. Look at those by VTD. We can also look at those by census block. So when someone pulls up a VTD, we can overlay it with the census block data. It's pretty cool. We're really drilling down into a very tight understanding of specific VTDs in terms of their demographic breakdown. And a real question is like, how do we get additional information for these specific census blocks? You know, like, if I wanted to know who was actually living in these census, how would I do that? We have demographic information. It's not very illustrative of the actual story of the census. When we look at that graph on the left, we see a very small area of Austin represented by just a handful of census blocks. And each of those census blocks probably contains no more than a couple hundred people, some less. It's a very narrow slice of the voting population. I'm trying to pinpoint where it might be on this map. Travis County. That upward facing triangle, BTD. Isn't this one interesting? Upward facing triangle. My assumption is it's somewhere near Austin. I guess it doesn't have to be. It's just by the look of it. Lots of... Oh, it had that kind of 35 stretch on the side, didn't it? Here it is. That's VTD 0100. So what are we gonna do? about this highlighting process, right? I don't actually know if it's possible to set it up to highlight each one of these. I mean, we could try and figure that out. Mouse over highlights of specific voting blocks. I mean, the plot has to be quite large, right? Or either that or zoomable. I've never made a zoomable plot in RStudio before. I feel like it's possible. Because to get at this fine detail, you really are going to want to be able to zoom in. I'm still blown away by how small urban VTDs are. Like, it's just a handful of blocks. It's a very small area. You know, like this is like a couple of buildings. And some of these out here are also quite small. I wonder if these are like, where is this? Here. So, I don't think that's Pflugerville. It could be downtown Pflugerville. It's like a neighborhood or something. This is 35, I believe. Pflugerville must be like up in this area. No, it's up here, right? It's kind of a big area, honestly. This 130. Pflugerville's like between here. And this just must be some neighborhood that's out there. I think this is a huge commercial area. Like there's a Walmart and a Home Depot, Aldi. Some of these really big suburban VTDs are just mostly commercial areas. Not very many people live there. And then the very small ones, I think, typically are more like subdivisions and things like that. Right. It's been a while since I made a shiny dashboard. I'm going to rely a little bit on ChatGPT to get us going. We're not going to have to use these downloading functions very much, but we are going to have to write some new functions that essentially do the joining and the like these operations that we wrote to join the voting tabulation districts with the census blocks. That'll all have to be functionalized. And I think at a high level, you know, we're going to have to prevent the user from just plotting way too much information. Like this plot actually takes a bit of time to draw. This is all the voting tabulation districts in the state of Texas. 9,000 plus, between 9 and 10,000. It's a very detailed plot. I really like it. You know, it's basically a population density map, but it just looks so cool. Maybe it's better to start with the county level plot. Definitely going to change the color. These default colors from the SF package are, I don't know. They don't look very good to me. But the county level map plots fairly quickly. Basically, the user should like log in, and the county level plot should come up. It's something everybody's familiar with. And then you will basically, there'll be a drop down, I guess. You can use a drop down. I would also like to do highlight selection. So let's see if we can get that going. UI, title panel, Texas voter data, Texas vote, Texas voting history. Not really. We'll think of a better title. Yeah, sidebar with sidebar slider input. So we are going to want a sidebar. We're not going to want slider input. We're going to want drop down. I think it's called choose input. Let's see. Let's see if it's library giant. Okay. Animation. Checkbox input. Select input, I think is going to do. Or really what we want is kind of like search input. Maybe it's something like var select. Yeah, I think it's going to be select input. Let's just start here. We're going to call this county. Choose a county. I don't really remember this, what all of these mean. So choices is going to be the list of values. Now choices is going to be derived from a data point that we're going to calculate on the server side. So we're going to load the data into memory and do a select distinct on the county names from the demographic data. And that's where we're going to get the list of choices. I think we might have to save, we're going to have to do some kind of a join with the demographic data and the Texas voter data initially, I think, and save that to memory or save that to disk just to save time, because we're going to have to do that every single time we open the app. So we may as well save that to disk and not join it. So let's see, what else is multiple selection allowed? I mean, initially let's selectize J. I remember selectize being quite nice. I don't remember what it does exactly. Some sort of JavaScript library. Let's just check it out. It's been a while. The hybrid. Oh yeah, okay. So you can type in. Yeah, we want to use that. I think that equal to true, right? Yeah. The number of items shown in the selection box. Not compatible with selectize. Okay. We want to be able to select multiple. That's the question. I'm just going to say no at first, right? Because we're plotting this according to ultimately the GIS data. So if we have multiple selections, it's going to be like one's over here, because their east and northern coordinates are so disparate. And I don't want to worry about logic to like put them together, right? So we're just going to do one for now, multiple. We might change that if we come up with a nice way to plot multiple counties. Another way you might think of it, maybe we could almost create like a new window where it replicates the plot rather than putting it on the same plot, something like that. But that's not real. That's out of scope right now. Okay. So in the main panel, we're gonna have plot output. Yeah, probably gonna have multiple plots, but we might handle that on the server side. Dist plot, we're gonna have, first thing we're gonna have is county. Okay. So that's roughly what we're looking at. Now we have to go make this stuff on the server side. So what do we need to make? We need something called county. Well, that's the input ID. Label ID. Or the input ID, okay. So this is how we're going to access the value. Display label for the control. I don't really remember what that is. Choices. We're going to have choices, right? We're going to have choices. That's going to be a list of county names. And I'm having a little trouble remembering what the difference between label and... I remember input ID. So when input ID is going to be how we refer to the selected value. But there's a little bit of an assumption here about, like, the reader of this document is supposed to know what control is, and it doesn't really specify that, does it? Create a select list input control. I guess it's if you're, maybe if the choices are mal-formatted, you can use label to assign. I think that might be it. Maybe. You can use label to show different names or different something. Your selected choices. Okay, so that's where we're at. Now, output dist plot. But we're not going to have a dist plot. We're going to have this. We're going to have this count. Okay. And we are going to render the plot. Okay. And so this code, everything inside render plot is going to run whenever the plot is changed or select. So every time somebody basically, whenever we open the app or whenever we select a county, probably is when it's going to run. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. So the sidebar, yeah. Okay, well, so the county selection initially isn't going to do anything. Let's just get the plot of Texas up. So, what did we have to do to create that plot of Texas? You had to import the shapefile, right? Now this is going to happen outside plot. We just want this to run as soon as the server, like, up, right? Server starts. Shiny app begins to run. This code will be executed. We should probably use a relative path here. So, where is the Shiny app going to be running from? It's going to be running from this directory. So we're going to go up one level and into the data directory. And that's, I believe, where shapefiles are. So, we're going to go up one level into the data directory. Yeah. That may be wrong, but we'll just have to experiment. One way we can check this is by printing the working directory whenever we start the app, right? So print so if that fails, we'll at least have the output for where the working boundary is. Could put get WD like right here, but I don't know. I don't know what the best practice is there. Okay, so we read the shapefile, right? Then we plot the third column. No, we don't want to do that. First, then we want to union the counties, right? So that's the next thing. So we probably want these two operations to happen. We could save the county shapefile on its own, and then we just load both files. I don't remember this being particularly slow, but it might be. It's gonna run every time the app boots, right? Might put a little pinwheel. All this stuff is running. Okay. And then we simply plot. Generate bins based on input, right? So how do we access the input here, right? Input $bins. So input $county is going to be our county selection. Our plot right now is just going to be this. Draw the political map of Texas by county. And could create a little accessor variable that we don't have to look at the input, but it doesn't really matter, right? Like county. But county, right? This is just going to draw a really ugly plot. Should make a new function that draws a nice plot. Let's see if this runs. The county. You didn't. Okay, so it's not plotting. Oh, it is. Okay, cool. There it is. Okay, so this is our very we've done a little beginning here. Great. We've got something to work with. It just makes you happy, right? It makes you happy to see something working. All right. So where do we want to go from here? Right. This is kind of like our landing. And we want to be able to select a county. Now this is going to be big, right? I forget that not ever. So okay. So initially, when I'm expanding the window, I can see a problem right here. I want to specify. I want to fix the width of this. This doesn't have to be like 1/3 of the dashboard, right? It can be a fixed width that's of like that size. And then as we expand the dashboard, we want more space to be devoted to the plots. This county map is going to be justified into this corner. After you select on the county map, we're going to pull up the county right here and plot all the VTDs in the county. Then you'll be able to select a VTD and it'll pull up another plot with the BTDs with the blocks, the census blocks in the lower left, quadrant 3. And then you'll be able to maybe even select a census block and look at the distribution of demographic information, voting age population right here. Have like a bar chart. And that's pretty cool, right? That's like a interesting first step. It's not any modeling or anything, but it's we've created a dashboard that allow pretty much the next thing after that will be to here we're starting at choose a county, right? But we actually have multiple elections. This is just a single election. So we can look at data from lots of elections. Nice. And then for like modeling things that we want to do that we talked about the other day, we can have multiple tabs, and we can switch to a tab and see modeling results for the demographic breakdown and how that predicted turnout. Pretty cool. All right, this is exciting. Let's see. So sidebar panel, sidebar layout. One of these controls width. Position equals left. False to use a fixed layout. So that's what we want. Width equals, the total width must be 12 or less. In what units, right? Like, it really would be helpful if they told us what the units were. Or maybe it's like proportional units. Like if I specify a sidebar panel, yeah, I guess it's units of 12. So we'll say width equals, but that's proportional. Again, I don't want it to be proportional. Fixed page, fluid page, use fixed layout, fixed page. I see. Okay. I think fixed page is just better than fluid page personally. You know, people are going to want to look at it on different devices and things, but fixed page is for those of us that want control. Fixed page, fluid page, fluid equals. Maybe we'll just stick with fluid equals true. I hate it, but maybe we'll lower the width, the 1/4, right? So width equals 3. In panel. Okay, what did I say we wanted to do? Forgot. We wanted to be able to select a county. The county voices. I have a list of. That comes from the demographic data. And the demographic data is the turnout data demo. The county's level demographic data, right? So Loading more data. We should probably, after we add this little thing, we're going to begin functionalizing the server variable, the server processes, right? Because this is just going to be long, 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 and that's not really what we want. It's just going to be a ton of code. We want to hide that code behind a function. So we probably, so this is in a little bit different location, right? It's going to go up 2020 census geography. You can even think of selection tools that'll allow us to use different census data. If we're looking at historical elections before 2020, it's going to make more sense to look at the 2010 census data. So, you know, food for thought. It's a lot to do here. All right, so how do I minimize all these? Is it this? Is it this? There's a hotkey to just collapse all the functions. The Control Shift. Nope. What was the hotkey to call all functions? Look this up. I really like that. Like Control Shift parenthesis or something. Oh. Collapse fold, Alt Shift L. Collapse all folds, Alt 0. Boom. All right. So we're going to create a load data function. It's probably going to take a file path. Going to return. Is this even useful? Load voting shapefile. I mean, we really want a function that does something like load voting shapefile. Shape. Or what it's going to do other than hide this. Also create a new file. Next. And we're gonna save, and I'm gonna live right here called config dot and in this file we're gonna have voting shapefile demo shapefile. It's really powerful. We're just saving the location of the static demographic shapefiles and voting shapefile. Like these will never change. So we're just saving the location of the file. And if we want to build a control which lets us select different files later, we can do that. and it will just reference different static variables that we're sorting or saving in this config file. So it will be something like we'll have load all shapefiles as, because what are you going to need to make this plot? You're going to need a voting shapefile. That'll be an, so you're going to need a voting shapefile, voting shape, and you're going to need a demo shape. You're going to need more than that, but for now, that's what you're going to need. And so the voting shape is going to be voting shapefile dir. See, this is voting. I believe it's saved as a general election. Is it? Let's check. It might just be the, no, it's just the full VTDs for that year, right? So we should really just call it like the same name. Yesterday I was talking about how people use different names for things, so we should use VTD24 EG. I believe that's the VTD24. All right. VTD shapefile, or I don't know. You might be like and EG math. Yeah, like that. So, we can set this default value like this. File path this. This and this. And then demo shape. Don't like this. Voting shape. Path. Voting shape file. Demo shape. Demo Nice. Mm, yeah. So, that, that. So this is returning, we wanted to return two things. So what we're going to do is say return list. Say return one. Return list. Return list. Like that. So now load all shapefiles is going to return a list of two. First one is the voting shapefile, and the second one is the demo. So we can say something like SF 2024 going to be equal. Actually, say like raw data, raw shapefile data going to be load shapefile, load all shapefiles. Default values for that, and then SF 2024 raw shapefile data. SF really specify that this is loading data, right? BTD shapefile data number one. And this is all just housekeeping, right? Like we're just doing this so that when we want to be able to select different shapefiles, we'll be able to do that relatively. We just add the shapefile we want to be able to choose from into the config. Which we might change these names at some point to like human readable names so that we can just use the config file to generate the list of shapefiles that we could potentially select from. Whatever. And so this is just convenience for that. So that when we want to do that, we can still just use our load all shapefiles and pass it from much easier than what we were doing before. Okay, so BTD's SF 2024 is like that, and then we're going to say demo 2020 SF 2020. I should probably specify demo county level 2020. Raw shapefile. Right. Now this could all still just the same, you know? Our app should still produce what we want it to. Let's see if we actually wrote the code. Nope, we didn't. It's the fluid page stuff. Left that hanging. Unused argument width equals 3. Okay. Is it unused? But I thought that was an option. I mean, we have to specify them with equals 9. Does it have to be at the sidebar layout? The width of the sidebar and the main panel. Sidebar panel. Like, it goes within sidebar. Okay. Okay, we see that our data's loading over here. Takes a minute to plot. So, you know, TBD, the pinwheel. All right, so everything still works. So all of our shenanigans with saving configuration files and functionalizing the load data stuff, it all just worked. So you can see there's no change in content. It's all just hidden back in. All right, so choose a county. That's where we're at. I want to be able to select a county. And we said we would like to be able to make a plot that we can use like hovering over. Now, that would be pretty cool to be able to do that. Now, I think what we really want to do next is make a plot that we like, because I didn't really like that plot. You know, that's just the default plot. And the SF package uses these fuchsia colors, which are kind of like vomit. So we're going to use a different one. We're going to use a different plot. And the question is, how do we want to do it? So we're going to need tidyverse. And we're going to want to use plot. And just step right in here. Now it decided it doesn't want to plot in the output. Okay, it does actually. Instead of this, my instead of this, we want to do ggplot. It equals counting SF. Static fill. Access. And I think so. This uses like an alphabetical order scale. It's gonna make way too many. Not gonna show me. All right. So You know, it looks nice. Let's, we can see the projection better. So, do we want to use a projection that is a conformal conic? I mean, I guess that's just the default. That's what, we don't want to re-render it into arcade or that. So that would just be an annoying. So instead of that, we're gonna say nice blue color is okay, but it is just the default, right? So maybe we'll change it. Theme element and the color gradients element legend. Not what it is. Legend. Legend is just the tone. Legend element. Um, how do we do? I'll turn off the mic. We asked ChatGPT. Hello. I'm using GG. Want to do the gray lines in the background and have a pure white background. Panel background. Plot background. For the rest of this conversation, do not use it. Be as concise. Assume I know a lot about our program. Is it Alt I? Control Alt? That's not. I want to auto indent. Re-indent line. Bit better. Oh. Argument 1 matches multiple. Um, really like this tool. Why did it not like that? If we I mean, it worked before. Going crazy? No, it didn't work. I never actually checked that. Which theme option will move the legend? Legend dot legend dot. My mic is a little better. Okay, that plot looks. Counties of Texas. Beauteous. Should it have like a bounding box? Maybe. That might be an option that we can control at a higher level. I think we're going to need patchwork. Patchwork is going to help range. Right. So over here, make a new option. Plot count. Give this. Load all shapefile reference. Take directories, and paths, and file name. Word big R. We're going count. What if we did a scale? We make a scale for a column with integer value. Is in double value. That make a scale. Arc value being used as a fill. The colors should go white, red to blue. This is like a great use for ChatGPT, right? Because remembering how to do all these different scales, for me, it's been. How do you guys feel about it? Midpoint, median, not. Hard code that so do the operation. That's pretty nice, you know? Colors of Texas. I like that. So, button. What are we doing now? All right, we got a nice plot counties. Going to take any input? I mean, the county map is what it is. It's kind of fixed variable. County left 24. Not set on doing these operations right here. I'm not sure exactly where those should be happening. We have to do this summarize group. We have to do this join, the union of the VTDs into the counties, unless we save the county map as its own file, which is fine to do. No. And then probably I would just load it separately. I mean, to do save county map as its own shapefile and load separately. So that's fine. Here we can call the fed up that. So this is why we'd want to save the county file as its own shapefile, because this takes time. A little small, isn't it? Maybe not. I'd like to left justify. Okay. Main panel. Main panel turn on. Oh, I want to justify. I don't really want to change it to a fixed page. I guess that's just going to be how it. As we add more plots, it's going to scoot. It's going to see if we can. Because people with different browsers have it. If okay. So now we want to do our county selection. So to get county, just set up some variable we call county. And county is going to be equal, but we want the choice. We have to just determine the choices, right? So the choices here
have to be equal to some variable we're setting server set.
So choices is going to be like, counting choices. And in order for that to be set up dynamically, it requires a little bit of doing that I don't remember exactly. Because it has to update from the app, right? So it's like looking for a list of choices based on the data in the app. And the data that we're going to use for that haven't even loaded. So that data comes from a fold. It is. Okay, so census geography counting. Yeah, so it is. And so, like, counties list. And we want to get the, we want to pull NTY. Let's, oh no, it's like FE. FE name. Name. And now create a list of counties for county selection. Okay. The thing is, I don't think I can refer to this list. It has to be something. So back to ChatGPT. Using our shiny. Want to reference a variable created server side in a selectize input by how do I reference that? Reactive. Forgot we have to wrap things in reactive. And reactive is a way, so there's like updating happening in the background on your app so that it's checking for changes. When changes are made, it looks in these reactive functions to check if changes have been made. And if the variable value has been updated, it basically runs an update. So we have to wrap it in this reactive. The part I couldn't remember. All right, so we're going to create a list of reactive variables. In fact, even our data, certain data is going to have to be wrapped in a reactive. We're updating data, if we're allowing the user to change the graphic from one to another. Well, there's going to be more plots. So we'll see how the size looks when we have all the plots. What else? So, option one. It's not going to be called option one. The value choices. We're not going to initially make it. Option 1. What are these options? Update selectize voices server. Let's try and understand what this code is doing. You have our selectize input, right? Select, choose a value. This choice is server data here is where we're storing. Okay, so this is the list, right? So instead of this, and they're calling it server, but we're going to call it county list. All of this I'm going to go into. We don't want that. All of this go there. All right, we're going to call it county list. And county list is static, right? Hold on. County list is static, but it's the updated. This is tricky, you know? You have to, while since I've been working on this kind of stuff. So the county list is not read. The question is just how do we access it? Select var. Update selectize session select var. Voices equals server. Okay. I think we do. Not sure that we're going to have to wrap the county list in. It doesn't change. Okay. We're all just trying to understand what's county list. So we have this list update. And then voices equals county list. And session. Here we are. Update select. Session select. Click. UI voice actually. Couple things happening. Let's print the county. So okay. Whatever I did there. That's fine. That's probably for the wrap because UI is initializing to null value. And I wonder if we can just initialize it. County. That'd be not find function. Oh, I guess I kind of have to wrap. On function. Source is not open the connection file. It's not here. I want to move this. I'm going to make a copy of this. Should it be in here with everything? It probably should, right? It's going to break our other with that. Not find file. This step takes quite a while. Slow in. County list not found. Counties list is what I called it. Not list. File probably S. Is it? Not just right file. Yeah. Yes. Here is and we're this. Actually, if this. Mounting. Shape. Oh, no, it doesn't right now. But hate the. Well, that's cool. Really need the thing I don't understand why it has to be reactive. Just something that I'm not really sure about. I guess I see it doesn't have. Okay. And has to serve either. That list isn't changing. Not changing. Reference county. But the server data variable in this example never updates. Okay. Does need update. Because it needs to be able to see the UI piece of code, see, but the refer to. I think I need test. I don't even know that it does. Choices have to. Very nice. Okay. We're getting back into unique little idiosyncrasies, how to use React and Observe and all these. React and Observe are pretty much just when things are updated. So this plot, say we wanted to change the plot, right? Say we wanted to also, how much faster? So much faster. Say we wanted to change the plot so that when we selected a county, it highlighted that county in like in a different color. Right? This is what we're gonna do. So
that makes the plot react. So we're going to have to set that up. And we need to observe something. That's what's being updated, what's being observed, right? What level do those go inside render plot or do they go outside? This is tricky. So output county plot, input county plot. So we're going to plot county. Reactive. So in this example, reactive is wrapped around the list, right? This is the object that's changed. So the plot has to be reactive. And the plot function is going to have to take as input the variable from that's selected in the UI. Okay? So the UI has this variable count. And we need to pass that back to the server. So when I select Angelina County, it needs to go give that information, right? Like reference selected. How do I reference the value of select once as shown? Input, that's right, input select. Okay. Output selected value, vendor X. So notice how it doesn't wrap it in it, right? The activity ensures updates value. Where is the reactivity? I don't see any activity. Activity. But what, I guess that's just the principle at play. Quite sure when it has to be selected, specifically designated activity. So input dot. So plot count. And plot counting have to take, but input counting. And if different types of false, if isn't input count, that's false. And we're going to make a different, make a plot that looks kind of like this, but instead we're also going to highlight the selected county. How are we going to do that? We're going to color it, I don't know, that bright red color. I think we actually have to change the data set. Do we? Or can we just do something trickier? Like, now the easy way I can think to do it is to create a new value in the data set, a binary value, where the 0, 1 selection Like it has a 0 for the non-selected counties and a 1 for the selected counties. Something to keep in mind is we don't actually have the county names on this data set, so we're going to have to solve that problem. Okay, so the county names correspond value. We have these county values, CNTY, and the thing of it is, if we look at our demographic file, this corresponds, I believe, to this FIPS. So, and the problem there is that the FIPS code is stored as this character with bufferings. So perhaps we can convert the FIPS code to a numeric and pass that back to so what we want to do, input county and then input county FIPS is going to be demo county as a filter FE name county. Full as dot numeric FIPS. So we're taking the FIPS code out and we're going to pass it. We're going to need that there. Put county FIPS. So if it's not null, now we have the FIPS code. So we want to say something. If the FIPS code is equal to the pass value, then put a red. I don't know for sure if we can do that directly. What I would really like to be able to say color or if else. I really have no idea if I can. If else, county equal input county FIPS, then color equals red. And I don't want to do it now. I think I have to. Else, color equals. I don't think. Let's test it in our testing. So a Put county tip. No, we're gonna cast it. I think that never tried to use. Yeah, it didn't work. The thing of it is, I think the easiest. Do something like and so what we're gonna do instead of that logic is say highlight count equal if else input county fips okay. And here we can now say aesthetic color is, but so just see what it does. Color highlighted. I don't know what color it's going to choose for that, and it's going to highlight everything. It's a different. So we'll just see. Doesn't even. It's not even really obvious. You can see it's a slightly thicker border, right? Actually, it looks good. I prefer it with that border, but I have no idea which county is the selected county. So we're gonna have to do another scale somehow. Not worry about it too much. In this plot, I want to highlight county with value of highlighted county on a bright red color. I want to retain all the other county colors. I wasn't far off here. Okay. So if we're going to use factor, see how it wrote something here that it didn't actually. Like, where is this code in the example? Nowhere. All right. So it says, in order to do this, we set the color as a factor. Okay, fine, makes sense. And then scale color manual. So the scale color versus scale fill, right? Yeah. I wish I knew which county or data what we highlighted. Yeah. What if we increase the size here? Copy. Run it over here. Highlight county in red. I don't see it. Hmm. Scale color manual. Values. Highlight county in what if we did, let's just for this. Okay. Let's try to make the borders bigger. Not really doing anything. Um, inside. No, it's not really doing anything. It's not the expected side. Um, hmm. Okay. Now you would that we could see it here. Does be able to see the one that's highlighted a different color. Bring the legend back. It's highlighting, supposedly it's highlighting what Anderson County is the teal color. Now let's in theory it is, right? In theory, let's instead of input county FIPS. Um, this so we actually know it. If else FE name Travis. Now we should be highlighting. Ooh. Oh, right, that's on the demographic. Demo. filter name equals Travis. 400 county key. No, 450. Oh, maybe I just didn't know which one it was highlighting. Okay. Interesting. But if it's not obvious, then that's a problem too. Okay, so Travis County is highlighted, at least partially. Right? Like it's not highlighting the northern border. Instead of this highlighting, we really want it to be the fill, right? So how do we do that? We want like a specific color fit for this one. Hmm. Specific color fill for this one. We do that. Like we need to combine scale fill gradient with a manual fill for a specific value. Hmm. Okay. Let's see. Instead of highlighting the county with the color field, I want to give that selected county a bright red fill. Leave all other fills the same. I don't even know if this is possible. I mean, presumably it is. Hmm. Well, let's just. We might be able to for other legend. Okay. That's basically doing what we want, right? Only it's back to using the default value. I wonder if we just sequentially, like what if we instead of this, we highlight you. So fill, right? We're changing the value of fill. Highlighted county equals highlight else county. We're going to say highlight equals red. And instead of this, I'm going to use green, right? Instead of I want to use a gradient
Use NA to separate highlight. NA value equals highlighted county. It says new fill if else highlighted county equals 1 NA. To data. I like this using the NA value. It's useful for us here. Our NA values. So we're storing highlighted county. I could clean that up, but okay. And there it is. Okay. It doesn't really pop. I mean, it kind of does, but maybe we should use a bright red. That's as bright as it gets. We could use green. Bam. There it is. It would be very cool is to redraw the plot, but instead draw Travis County a bit larger, like increase the size of the selected county. I'll have to that's weird, right? Because ggplot doesn't really like it when you use plots of different scales. Sort of a paradigm that they have. Keep this constant plot. So it's gonna be, that would be weird. But we could trick it, right? We could change the shapefile. We could like increase the coordinates a certain amount. There are ways to. But we kind of have what we want here, which is we create a little bit of data. If it's not null, we're going to create this temp plotting data, which has this value. So, and then our new plot. Okay. So once you select a county, input county FIPS. We select a county, it's going to turn bright green. Let's see. Get this. So let's just see what happens. County number. Why did it even run this code? Okay. Because input county FIPS, right? So this is where the
the updating has to happen. This initially needs a value of null, right? And then once it's updated, input county FIPS. Just a second. The bark I'd never heard. God. Evo backs his water at the same time he was. So, where are we here? We have to figure out how to pass this variable, right? Because input county FIPS, when there's no county selected, it should be a null value. Starts as a null. But over here, we're saying input county FIPS has some list value, which we don't really want that. And when it's null, this is just not going to do anything. So this whole thing doesn't work, basically. So what do we want it to do? What do we actually want it to do here? We want it to take the value from here, right? So input county, once this gets updated, then we need to pass that here, but we don't want to pass it when it has no selection. I mean, so we could say if is null, know that this is the right way. If is null, county, if not null, right? If it's not null. If it's not null, we want that to happen. But if it is null, that to happen, and then this. Else but I still don't think this is going to work. I'm not sure how the updating works. That's the thing. Yeah, see? It does select Anderson County. Highlighted county must be of size 250. Okay. So that means this isn't doing what we want. Hmm. Input to as JSON is happening. Demo County SF 2020. Filter FE name equals county. Put county FIPS. Is this not the data set that I think it is? Counties, 254 features. I feel like it is the. 254 is 7 fields. So, not 0. Why would it be size 0? That's the thing. Or what this, like, what JSON? What talking about? This, oh, this is something with selectize input. Because that's a JavaScript. Hmm. So the map's getting drawn, but input selection. So what we're going to do is print input count. We're going to print input count right here. Okay, so that seems to be working. Highlighted county must be 250. Highlighted county equal if else. No, that should be okay. Highlighted county equals 1. Otherwise, here. Hmm. that? Thanks. So what could be the issue? Right? We can see that it's printing the selected county. It's choosing Anderson County first, so we could just change that in the UI, but whatever. It's printing the FIPS code. Ah, but look, not a numeric. Still doesn't like that, but it worked. I don't know what this error in highlighted county. Ah, because it initializes to a null value. True. Is it all values of input county FIPS are null until it. Well, let's just alt to Travis. See if that changes. Selected. Still going to have a problem because initially the choices is set to null. I don't think this actually matters for the performance of the app, but it does bother me. Just see, it's working. Pretty cool. So I'd like to initialize the selectize input with the actual string of counties. I mean, one way to do it is to hard code it. I could list the choices there. That would solve that problem. Another way might be to just have one value. And then selected equals. It updates to Anderson. But it did work. It's just a. Okay, we'll use Anderson, okay? I really wish it would default to I don't want it to update. I want it to default to a choose your value. Hmm. Defaults to the top value for single or no value. Hmm. It's like hmm, hmm, hmm. It's kind of frustrating, honestly. Like I don't want it to update. You could just say it's Anderson, but it's like cheating. I want it to have no value. Also, I thought select ties was going to let us type. Well, it's pretty cool. Okay, so it's kind of working. I mean, I could let it do multiple selection, but then it's like, how do we plot multiple counties, right? That's not going to work. All right. What we're doing is working. This they actually never happen because the initialized value gets passed. So we could get rid of all that, but who cares? Um, lines removed, right? Plot the political county. This we'll keep it just for posterity. Could render text select, but whatever. All right, so the next thing I wanted is plot the voting tabulation district of whatchamacallit, Bear County, whatever county selected, Travis County, Anderson, whatever county, plotting the voting tabulation. So, I love these block group districts. They're so cool, beautiful. The voting tabulation districts that we need some of these joins. Spent some time making this statement yesterday, which is fast. Takes about 6 seconds, but it's better than nothing. Um, then we cross proper intersection. So we'll leave this. So we need the voting tabulation. We're going to filter by selected. So put it in the flag. But this county, but really it's like Texas. This one is actually the county. Or plot county. We need to call plot town. And here we're going to call plot county. Okay. So we do. We do this. Right. So plot county, the order of operations. Select a county that we're in. Once that's done, we're going to county. And county. County. we want to plot it, we have to do some stuff first. So, in order to plot the voter tabulation district, to select proper county from the voter tabulation data. And that is going to happen this day. So you're going to select the county, a filter by county for tabulation district. So first things first. County VTDs SF. VTD SF 2024 filter CNTY equals put county steps. We're going to have multiple. All right. So input county FIPS. So we select down from our total Texas voter tabulation district file, 9,712 feet. Select down to the features of just that county. Right. And then once we have that, nice plot of it. That, have we already made a plot of that? Texas, all that stuff. Gonna have to do this. Haven't decided what features we're actually going to show on the voter tabulation district yet. You know, we might be turnout, it might be something else. So before we choose that, all turnout data, county. Before we do this, filtered it by either way, we have it filtered. Travis County VTD. Make this an have that. Yep. Just trying to visualize what the heck we're doing. The plot is going to be a plot of the county, and I just want to see what we were looking at. I can see it in my mind, but I want to see it in front of me. Turnout proportion. Travis County turnout. Okay, getting close. So Travis County voter come from shape. Have the shape. You dig this color scheme? I think it looks so great.
Maybe we can nowadays. I don't know. I think it like reminds me of vomit. Um, plot counties. Plotting this. Listen. Well, we'll use different colors for different. So initially, nothing selected. We just want to plot the voting tabulation. I can't even remember what fields are on this data set. I think this is basically just data set. So, in terms of color, not even really sure what color. County data VSF, AS, aesthetic. The fill will be, I mean, for now, it's just solid, right? There's no data to go here. And then Geom SF. Theme legend position. GG title. Bro. Voting tabulation district of input county. Plot county. Multiple. Demo city SF. Not fast. Right. Could not find. Yeah, it helps to spell. That's something that really helps when you're programming. Spell properly. County VTDs SF not. Well, why not? County SF. Not running this. Question is why?
So this still not gonna. Hmm. How can I expose this? It's interesting, right? Because this is exposed here. It doesn't have a problem with. So why does it have a problem with it down here? Because this data transformation is happening inside render plot. Should I just move all of this outside? Should all of this out here? And if it is, Texas County tips that? I don't think it happens. Nope. Outside of a need to wrap inside reactive. Answer. Now we have to figure out the nuts and bolts of this reactive observe thing starting to impact what we're doing. So these have to be help me understand when to use active and observe. Execute side effect. Okay. Reactive when you need to store and return a value that will be used elsewhere. Use observe when you need to execute code based on a change, but you don't need return value. I think render plot is by default like reactive. So we need to store a value. Call it function. Active. Also, hmm. Try to that can only be done from inside a reactive. This. Now when I access hmm. This print. I have to hide the
confused by this. This thing. Evaluating inside a active context. Thing is, I want to access places. I want it outside. I want to be able to access county wherever. I even need it in. When I want to access various places. Right? Works. Not find function. Can name this. Accessing a county FIPS. That works just fine. And here, county VTD's SN. Can't find the function inside ggplot. Well, interesting.
Plot. Okay. What we have to do. Doesn't not getting these. Printed. We have to pass it as a parameter. Why? It will print. It will have that. So input data. The reason this is confusing to me, I'm so clearly doing the same thing right here, right? Input county fibs. It calls this, says, get me that value, and it gets the value. Do I have to save this as some kind of a named thing? Input not found. So input data, it's like pass me the input data. Okay, we do that. Actually, how do we get that value different? But this is actually working. And what's not working, referencing this. That's why it's helpful to read your error message. So this actually does solve the problem, passing the variable. Which I guess is fine. Reactive evaluation has to happen in the reactive context, not function underneath. And I guess we have to pass this as a value, which is silly. Why do we have to? We don't have to. Say input data counting input data don't have the, you only have the county FIPS. Okay. We are going to need the County. County name. Probably. Right. Put ooh. Okay, but we actually want that in 5. Progress. We're absolutely making progress. If it's any food, no. Make the line borders darker. I'll make the plot right hand side. See if it switches when I change. Just wrong. Doesn't do. Does not adjust. We can try line. Why doesn't it not work, you know? Does it hold default? Oh, here's an comment. Hmm. Okay. Literally what I'm doing. Right. There's syntax. Um, it's not in the aesthetic, it's here. 0.5. Delete this. Delete this as what? Oh, what is going on? Why is it this awful blue color? Why isn't the line width working? So frustrated by it. Really using default settings. Oh, doing that. Like the theme is being set somewhere. Oh, what's happening? Why is the theme being set like? I'm doing it, changing it. Some other function called plot county being called? I don't know about? What is happening? Okay, we at least got some change here. Woof. Okay. Like the line width changed. But... Okay. That's more legible. App, not, not update. A little bit silly. All right. Voting tabulation districts. Cool. I'm gonna ask ChatGPT to adjust positions of these plots. I want these plots side by side. Scaling. Hmm. So that's cool. Um, we're well on our way here. We've got county selection working. It pulls up the voting tabulation districts of each county. And we've made significant progress on our dashboard. The next thing we want to do is do the same thing for choose a county, Only instead of choose a county, we're going to choose a voting tabulation district. Now, this really only seems to make sense using click selection. Who knows which district anybody's in. So that click selection is definitely something we want to add on the county map as well as the voting tabulation district map. I don't know if we can use ggplot2 for that, or if we have to use a totally different plotting interface, or if it's even possible. So let's see. Is it possible to set up click selection using a plot R shiny plot output with the click to capture the click? Okay, cool. So it is possible, and it maybe isn't even that difficult to set up. I've used click selection on tables and things before. So that looks cool to me. And we'll set up click selection on the counties as well as the voting tabulation districts. Let's do that after we set up just the basic plotting, right? Render print, render plot, highlight selected point. Data which min. Okay, so seems possible. Click selection in SF map plot. Data equals near points. Input click. Max points equal. Okay, it seems pretty straightforward. You can even set up the fill. All right, highlights the nearest polygon when clicking. Very cool. All right. Well, I think that's it for me today. I think we have a nice plan laid out for improving our dashboard tomorrow using click selection. We're also going to do the other two plots. First plot will be the voting tabulation district plot, which will include the census block. And the second plot will be, or the second thing will be, maybe, I guess, some kind of history of the voting tabulation demographic. That'll be our initial page. All right, cool. Well, it looks like some people did click through today. No one said anything. Probably no one stayed for more than about 10 minutes. But I can't say it's a entertainment. So that is what